I'm content to die for my beliefs. So cut off my head and make me a martyr.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
(1775), the American Revolutionary War began as the American colonies sought to detach from England and its oppressive monarchy. Though many reasons are cited for the revolution, one in particular sticks out as the prime cause: that King George III of England outlawed the interest-free, independent currency the colonies were producing and using for themselves, in turn forcing them to borrow money from the Central Bank of England at interest, immediately putting the colonies into debt. And as Benjamin Franklin later wrote, the refusal of King George III to allow the colonies to operate an honest money system which freed the ordinary man from the clutches of the money manipulators was probably the prime cause of the revolution. In 1783, America won its independence from England. However, its battle against the central bank concept and the corrupt, greed-filled men associated with it had just begun. So what is a central bank? A central bank is an institution that produces the currency of an entire nation. Based on historical precedent, two specific powers are inherent in central banking practice: the control of interest rates and the control of the money supply, or inflation. The central bank does not simply supply a government's economy with money, it loans it to them at interest.
Behold, my son! Behold! Behold, man's ancient call towards the step to reality. Behold, the ancestors wish that a day shall dawn from the annals of creation to be known as Africa Day. Before you count your fingers comparatively with the coming years, man's anger will emerge like smoke fumes with Africa Day in its background. Behold, my son, behold that your pace is set on the right footing. They came from the west and sailed via the east, with hatred and disease flowing on their flesh, and a burden to harden our lives. They claimed to be friends when they found us friendly, and when they met being foreigners, they fought for the race, exploiters of Africa, Africa my beginning and Africa my end. They asked Mugabe that unataka nini hapa ninchi wewe. He said, binadamu wote ni ndugu zako na Afrika ni mcha. Ndataka mbari ya Zimbabwe mimi mwenyewe. In Africa my beginning, in Africa my end. Suckers of my country, they laid their sponges flat on its soil and absorbed its resources to feed their coffers. Agostino has spoken the language of the poets, that they went away in multitudes and forgot their hearts behind. But late is never a bad start. In Africa my beginning, and Africa my end.
Sanmanani Abshani Dumelang Babugele Makaya, very warm welcome to the alternative view. Thank you very much for tuning in today. As always, the show is all about giving you the platform to speak and voice out your thoughts, opinions without any criticism nor judgment. But before we get into today's topic, let us quickly take a recap of last week's episode. Now, so many comments we have received last week about the Al Jazeera episode, and 90% of the publicity has taken side of the Zimbabwean government as well as the presidency after everything became unfolded. The Al Jazeera has taken cruel and unprofessional steps to destroy Zimbabwe with anything they could use against them. And also the world questions how the Zimbabwean country was able to survive all these years even after the sanctions were imposed on them.
We no longer live in a world of nations and ideologies. The world is a college of corporations, inexorably determined by the immutable bylaws of business. The world is a business.
Something the public needs to understand is that Zimbabwe is one of the greatest countries that is super rich on minerals, and despite that, the level of intelligence on Zimbabwean individuals is high, hence the capacity to run and keep the country at its level best.
Oh yes, we've done very well in bringing inflation down. We brought it down from as high as over 800% down to 6% on a year-on-year basis. Of course, at the moment, we're being impacted by the whole global scenario, the global spillovers in terms of imported inflation via the global oil price, via the supply chain challenges. But also we're benefiting on the other hand because we are a commodity exporter in the form of base metals, nickel and others. Those are remaining strong, and that's very helpful. But on the inflation front, we are importing inflation. Our target for the year was about 20% odd, but we may be slightly higher, but the inflation trend for us is still downwards.
We have comments on Twitter that were shared by the people of the country. Let us take a look at what they had to say. First, we have Lover Girl, and she says, guys, we're having elections in few months' time. So if this documentary from Al Jazeera is released now at this time of the year, it would have caused political uproar, mostly violence. And as a country, we can't have that. The next one, we have Jackie Hans and he says the Western media has put Zim on sanctions while benefiting from slave labor in Congo. But Al Jazeera will never do a documentary on that. And that again, it has not shown applied to the Palestinians.
A criminal settler colony that has been established like Israel there in that part of the world. I cannot go along. Let me say why. If someone broke into your home, Mr. Donahue, and actually bomb rushed your home, and Black Boots stomped your door down, and came in and robbed and raped everyone in the household, and was able to take the wealth of your home and parlay it into an empire. This is an invader. This is an intruder. This is a murderer. This is a burglar. This is a criminal. So you have no responsibility to share your home with them after they broke in and committed the crimes that they did.
Not to remind you, especially you younger writers, that you can be critical of your government and your society. You don't have to fit in. It's fashionable now to take shots at Republicans and Trump and all that, and avoid the Obamas and Clintons. But remember this, in the 13 wars we've started over the last 30 years, and the $14 trillion we've spent, and the hundreds of thousands of lives that have perished from this earth, remember that it wasn't one leader, but a system, both Republican and Democrat. And call it what you will, the military-industrial, security, money, media, complex. It's a system that has been perpetuated, under the guise that these are just wars, justifiable in the name of our flag that flies so proudly over our lives. Our country has become more prosperous for many, but in the name of that wealth, we cannot justify our system as a center for the world's values when we continue to create such war and chaos in the world. Thank you. No need to go through the victims, but we know we've intervened in more than 100 countries with invasions, regime change, economic chaos, or hybrid war, soft power, whatever you want to call it. It's war of some kind. In the end, it has become a system leading to the death of this planet and the extinction of us all. I fought these people who practice war most of my life. It's a tiring game.
These plans were, of course, to be covered and assisted by the full power of their propaganda. Our theaters soon became filled with plays portraying the glory of war. Newsreels lost all semblance of objectivity. And they have used the war to justify the restriction of congressional power and the assumption of dictatorial procedures on the part of the President and his appointees. A fear campaign was inaugurated. We cannot allow the natural passions and prejudices of other peoples to lead our country to destruction.
And mostly you'll get your ass kicked. And with all the criticism and the insults that you'll receive, and the flattery too, it's important to remember, if you believe in what you're saying and you can stay the course, you can make a difference. I urge you to find a way to remain alone with yourself. Listen to your silences, not always in a writer's room. Try to find not what the crowd wants so that you can be successful, but try instead to find the true inner meaning of your life here on earth. And never give up on your heart in your struggle for peace, decency, and telling the truth.
Cruelly and torturing and ill-treating their people, Al Jazeera will never express that on their channel, but it has given itself the authority to talk about Zimbabwe. After the break, I will be giving you feedback on how the Zimbabwean currency is standing at this current moment.
Never and never again.
This difference must be recognized. We are non-racialist in our approach.
The revolution shall be televised.
Just-in-Time Television introduces a revolutionary game changer, a massive banner, bringing your live streaming, be it entertainment, news, animation, reality shows, you name it. Visit our website at www.JIT-TVzw, where you can stream just in time and subscribe for only 10 Rand. And don't forget to go on our social media platforms at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. JIT-TV is still yet to bring you. Entertainment is our game.
Welcome to Zambezi River Lodge, Victoria Falls. Nestled on the banks of the mighty Zambezi River, right on the edge of the national park, Zambezi occupies the most unique and finest spot with the tranquility and seclusion every traveler seeks. Each of its well-appointed rooms is either garden or river facing, allowing you to soak in the serenity of the environment. The award-winning restaurant Amlonga offers delectable cuisine, which includes our famous high teas. To explore Victoria Falls from this fine location, book any of our packages now. Zambezi River Lodge. Relax, refresh, replenish.
Welcome back and thank you for tuning in to The View. Now, more information has arisen that the Financial Intelligence Unit has lifted the assets freeze orders placed against Ambassador Hubert Angel and 3 other implicated in alleged money laundering by Al Jazeera documentary series. FIU Director General Oliver Chiperesa announced the lifting of the ban after completing investigations. He said the unit has since concluded its analysis of 4 episodes of the Al Jazeera documentary and determined that there is no good cause for the freezing order to remain in place. The FIU has not identified transactions or assets linked to the money laundering and related financial crime connected to the allegations in the Al Jazeera documentary. But the freezing action is, however, without prejudice to any further investigation that law enforcement agencies may wish to commence or continue against any persons involved. Now, since the Al Jazeera propaganda documentary, the Zim dollar continues to fall, and the current rate is now $2,000 to the US dollar. This comes after the currency had held at $900 for over a year due to gold exports.
Young people speak in their minds, are getting so much resistance from behind. Time we stopped that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
As a result of the negative impact of the Gold Mafia documentary, all Zimbabweans have lost half of their Zim dollar, eco cash denominated wealth in just 6 weeks. The reason behind this decline is the halt of Zim gold exports since the Gold Mafia. These exports propped up the currency and brought in US dollars from Dubai when South African banks stopped giving Zimbabwe US notes due to sanctions in 2020. Unfortunately, it is the common Zimbabwean who believes in Gold Mafia that will suffer the consequences. Small-scale miners are now taking knock while gold stockpiles are rising. The mischievous manner in which the documentary was done was to actually kill Zimbabwe momentum growth, and on that, we give praise to the Al Jazeera for causing such havoc. You have done it. But however, the Zimbabwean's treasury has now announced measures to encourage the use of the local dollar as opposed to the US dollar to boost the local unit and tame a rising consumer inflation. Because if not, then there'll never be change. Unemployment rate will continue to rise as many will lose their formal jobs, acute balance of payments and external debt issues, and monetary policy and fiscal constraints. Now, after the whole conflict on social media and on the government cabinet, the office of the President of Ghana has demanded an immediate reaction and qualified apology from Al Jazeera for its Gold Mafia documentary. The international media organization has been given a 7-day ultimatum within which to withdraw the documentary and apologize for airing an unprofessional and defamatory documentary. The response was not what the presidency had expected, as they did say they will not apologize and again take out the documentary of social media spaces. Let us please take a look at the video.
Gold will never go away, and today we're having a discussion on the Al Jazeera Gold Mafia expose and the president's demands for retraction by Al Jazeera. You would also remember in that documentary, Al Jazeera said he had made a contact to the president or the presidency, and he did say that as far as he could remember, he doesn't remember coming across the gentleman that's either the antagonist in that story, Alistair Matthias. But as it is, we'll see how it goes. And then also we'll all touch base with the issues of school feeding, because currently caterers are on strike. And as a result, key stakeholders, including past ministers and those who were managing the program, and the Ghana National Association of Teachers, including the caterers themselves, are saying that something needs to be done, but not only how the program is funded, but also what is paid the caterers, and then also how the whole structure of the national school feeding program is. Let me just introduce our guests in the studio for you. I have Benjamin Jewapia. He is with the communication team of the NPP as well as government. Thank you for joining me, Benjamin.
Nice seeing you.
Nice seeing you too.
How's it been?
Oh, I'm well.
Growing up, I've been watching you all this while, so
right.
It's a privilege to be here.
Okay, great. I know that we're going to have a nice discussion.
Sure.
I also have the experienced Kwame Jantua. He is currently the chair for the Political Affairs Committee of the CPP. He's also a legal practitioner and then also an energy or extractive industry consultant. Thank you for joining me, sir.
Good morning,
It's
Roland.
a privilege to have you. And then also I have Dr. Samiaye. He is with the NDC's communication team. He's also a medical doctor by profession. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Roland.
Dr.
Good morning to you.
And I know that you say you love my outfits. It's by Ellis Couture. Mrs. Dinah Apo Adugu. You're in the Volta Regional Capital. And thank you for loving the outfits. My regards to the family, including your husband, Andrews. But look, let's begin the discussions and preface it. President is his lawyer.
Has no idea of what he said. And it is
boasting.
on record.
He was boasting?
Yes, he was bragging. In fact, you know the former president, the late president of Tanzania, Magufuli, declared Alistair wanted in Tanzania. So he is known to be a bragger. Roland, you have been in the media space for well over 30 years. With your experience, you can have some unscrupulous people using your pictures and other stuff to tell people that, oh, they know you. Oh, do you want to see Roland? Oh, yes, I know him. Meanwhile, they have no idea where you live, whatsoever. But because they know you have carved out a very good reputation for yourself in the media space, they would want to associate themselves with you. Why was Alistair talking like that? People had gone to him that they want gold concessionaire. In fact, Ghana, what was our name before we got the name Ghana? Gold Coast. So, to lure these investors, he said, I have a very good relationship with the president.
So he was just huffing and puffing.
Exactly.
Boasting.
People are well known in
just
the system like that. Bragging. As I'm telling you right now, he's been declared by Kenyan government. He's a wanted man. Uhuru Kenyatta wanted this same man executed for some ivory and some elephants that some gang cartel were killing in Kenya. And Alistair Matthias was part of it. So this man is a known braggart, and I believe that the president, as he's saying, needs an apology from a renowned media house like Al Jazeera. They have heard, like I've said here, media houses, big media houses like CNN, BBC, Fox, they all make mistakes. So if they make mistakes, why not? Like we always say, Sankofa Wonchi. They can go back and apologize. And this time I am very, very happy that the president is very firm and has issued out a statement. This time, Al Jazeera is not going scot-free.
But is it not true?
It is.
That Al Jazeera, before they put this documentary out, did contact the presidency. And it's in this documentary that the presidency did give a reaction or a reply to the team that, as far as the president can remember, he can't remember coming across Alistair Matthias.
Well, it's good that we have a lawyer here. Lawyer Janto, I can tell you, he cannot vividly remember the number of clients that he has.
Or has had.
Exactly.
That's
so if the president is saying that he has no knowledge of this, in fact, his law firm, according to all the records that they have as far back as 2000, the president has not been working, has not been going to court as far about 2000.
Now, in light of the 4 episodes that have been released of the Gold Mafia series, it is becoming increasingly apparent what is happening. Following the production of the documentary, Dot Khan, the brother of Mo Dollar, has been placed into witness protection along with his family for the rest of their lives. Macmillan's relationship with the officials of Zimbabwe has been damaged substantially. The EY auditor, Amaj Rihan, who blew the whistle on Dubai gold refineries, will never be employed again, as no employer can ever trust him. He may also need to go into hiding to avoid assessance of the people he implicated. The documentary overlooks the positive economic and social impact of the gold industry. Gold mining provides livelihoods for millions of people around the world, particularly in developing countries. It contributes to infrastructure development, healthcare, and poverty alleviation in many communities. By demonizing the entire industry, the documentary ignores these critical contributions and the potential harm that sweeping judgments can cause to legitimate businesses and individuals.
The Central Bank of Zimbabwe introduced this Monday a digital token backed by gold as legal tender. The aim is to help stabilize the Zimbabwean dollar and protect citizens from currency fluctuations. The gold-backed digital tokens will be a form of electronic money backed by Zimbabwe's gold reserves held by the central bank. Over the past year, the value of the Zimbabwean dollar has declined significantly, with $1 now worth approximately 1,000 Zimbabwean dollars, compared to 150 Zimbabwean dollars a year ago. Zimbabwe has been drowning in double and sometimes triple-digit inflation for over a decade.
A gold standard is a monetary system where a country's currency has a value directly linked to gold, and this was then implemented in Zimbabwe. The gold standard is good for Zimbabwean business, or economy rather, as it is acting as a store of value as the country's currency continues to lose ground against major currencies. Hence, Zimbabwe finds a means to bring it back to life and light. Truth be told, Zimbabwean gold carries heavy value. Hence, the Western countries fought the Horn of Africa for its own minerals and resources, more especially Zimbabwe, as they knew what value it was going to bring for them. The gold standard reduces the risk of economic crises and recessions, while increasing income levels and decreasing unemployment rates. And now it is time to say our goodbyes to each other, unfortunately. Thank you very much for watching The Alternative View. Please do make sure that you comment and catch us to all our social media handles. On Twitter, it is at JIT-Entertainment. Facebook, it's JIT-TVzw. And on Instagram, it is JIT-TV_ZW. Or rather, you can go to our website at www.jit-tv.tv to stream and watch your favorite shows. But for now, that is all from me to you. Hope to see you again next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.